Hello everyone, and welcome back to Standards Not Force. Today's video is going to be intense. So before we begin, let me be very clear. This is not a protest. This is not a confrontation. This is not about targeting people, workers, or institutions. What you're about to hear is a standards-based framework, lawful, voluntary, and disciplined. It's designed to reduce fear and to prevent harm without escalation. If you're looking for chaos, outrage, or confrontation, this is not the channel for you, and this is not the video for you. If you're looking for how communities protect themselves without tearing up the country, stay here with me. Those of you here for the first time, I want you to stop watching right now. Just stop. Go back and watch the previous videos. And watch them in this order. The first video, Can America Be Saved? Second video, Get Ready. Third video, Violence Will Fail. Here's what works. Fourth video, Standards Not Force. And the fifth video, You Are Not Powerless. That is the video that talks about agency. You can binge watch if possible, or you can watch them at your leisure. Then return here for this video. If you don't go back and watch the earlier videos, you're going to be lost and confused and not really understand what's going on with Standards Not Force. We don't want you to be confused, because if you are, you will be our weakest link. We're in the business of saving our country, and for that we need serious people. Having said that, let's get on with the business of saving our country. I thank all of you for returning. That shows you're interested, as well as having checked your agency's tank, filled it up, and are ready for implementation of the Standards Not Force framework. Very soon, we'll have another video of one of the members of Standards Not Force who will be giving a talk on our writing campaign to law enforcement and the military. As our military. That's right, you heard me correct. We pay the taxes, so they're our military. They do not belong to those people in Washington. We just allow them to utilize them, and currently they are misutilizing them. So if you're continuing to communicate with the law enforcement and the military communities, keep up the good work. And again, thank you for all your hard work on that. It's really appreciated. And I'm sure they appreciate it as well. It's an important leg of our outreach to wish them well and to show our love. I'll be discussing information today you'll eventually be using on some forms and protocols for electronic distribution. You'll be able to download that information from our Substack, which will be posted at the end of this video. Also, we'll be setting up a live chat here on YouTube channel in the very near future. And that will be for questions and answers. From the comments, I'm aware there's quite a few questions And I'm sure, or I hope to be able to provide you the answers for those questions. Most of the information is too voluminous to post here, so we'll be posting it on our Substack. Now, implementation without escalation. We'll be setting up community safety zones in different cities around the U.S. and establishing infrastructure containment measures. I want to be clear, as always, at the outset. This is not a call to disrupt. This is not a call to harass. This is not a call to target workers, properties, or individuals. This is a coordination protocol. What changes outcomes is not outrage. What changes outcomes is structure. You do not need tools. You do not need volume for its own sake. You need discipline and your agency. What follows is a lawful, ethical, scalable method for civilian participation that creates institutional review without chaos. If you cannot follow these instructions exactly, please do not participate. Our core rule, this is non-negotiable. We use one message, one window, one posture, and no freelancing. No improvisation, no escalation. Discipline is what keeps legitimacy intact. Our implementation starts on offense. We will not be reacting to anything. They will be reacting to us. And that slows them down tremendously. Implementation does not begin after harm. It begins before reaction. Defense explains. Defense responds. Defense waits. Offense sets the terrain. Offense here does not mean confrontation. It means initiative through standards. We are not chasing headlines. We are not chasing Washington. We are not focused on personalities. We focus on infrastructure behavior, the systems that quietly shape outcomes. That is how durable change will happen. The community safety zones and what they are. Our standards create community safety zones. A community safety zone is not enforcement, not exclusion, not surveillance. It is a normative civilian space where families, workers, and neighbors know that transparency, dignity, and calm are prioritized. Our community safety zones exist to reduce fear before it spreads, stabilize everyday spaces, prevent misuse of civilian infrastructure, and protect workers from confrontation. Containment here means containing fear and risk, not people. Infrastructure containment clarity. Let me be exact about the strategy. We are not attacking people. We are not attacking institutions. We are not using force, threats, or disruption. We are containing infrastructure risks through standards. Community safety zones only function if surrounding civilian infrastructure is not quietly repurposed in ways that compromise safety, dignity, or calm. Let me repeat that. Community safety zones only function if surrounding civilian infrastructure is not quietly repurposed in ways that compromise safety, dignity, or calm. Containment means preventing its misuse, increasing its transparency, narrowing pathways where harm hides inside normal commerce. This is done through disclosure, standards, and voluntary disengagement. Nothing more. Infrastructure with elevated community risks. We began where civilian life is most exposed. It includes hotels and lodging, airlines and airports, taxis, rideshare platforms, and private transport, restaurants and fast food chains, delivery platforms, including food and retail, malls and shopping centers, large retail anchors, fuel stations and travel hubs. These are not targets. They are risk surfaces. Our standards apply to how infrastructure is used, not who it serves. Why this matters. When infrastructure is opaque, rumors outpace facts. Panic spreads. Harmful actors exploit confusion. When infrastructure operates under visible standards, fear decreases. Workers are protected. Communities stabilize. Institutions self-correct internally. That is the purpose of community safety zones. Minneapolis-St. Paul is our proving ground. We'll begin in Minneapolis and St. Paul deliberately, not because they are exceptional, but because they are representative. They're dense, diverse, interconnected. This will be our proving ground. Here we refine our language, our standards, our timing, our discipline, and members' conduct. Once the model is stable and defensible, we'll expand it city by city. Precision first, expansion second. A misconception needs to be corrected. People think power comes from software. It doesn't. Power comes from coordination. 50,000 plus people acting independently is noise. 50,000 plus people acting identical is signal. And we'll operate in 2 tiers, as well as other select committees, which will be placed on the Substack. And you'll be able to go there and look at the committees and decide which ones that you want to participate, where you can bring the most experience to the committee. The 2-tier structure, role discipline. There are only 2 tiers. Tier 1 is executive notice. Here, this is handled by a small control group. Their purpose, formal notice and paper trail. If you are not assigned Tier 1, you are not in Tier 1. If you are not assigned Tier 2, you are not in Tier 2. Tier 2 is the network. Most of you will be Tier 2, and that is not a downgrade. That is where scale lives. This is where over 50,000 plus people participate. Plus we have a force multiplier. The force multiplier can make each of you 10 of yourselves, or even 20. That would make us a force of over 500,000. 2-tier does exactly 2 things. Nothing else. No emails to properties, no phone calls, no tagging executives, no arguments. Discipline is protection. The hard guardrails. Here's an explicit list. The discipline rules. These are not suggestions. These are non-negotiable. Supporters will not email hotels directly, will not call properties, will not tag executives aggressively, threaten boycotts, or argue in their comments. That destroys credibility, exposes workers, and weakens the entire campaign. So tier 2 action number 1 is corporate forms. Members submit one standardized message through corporate contact. Ethics, sustainability, investor relations. These forms are logged, counted, and escalated internally once corporations receive them. This is the message we will send verbatim. We are a network of 50,000 plus professionals, families, and travelers reviewing corporate involvement in federal detention and deportation operations. We are seeking clarification on whether your properties, directly or through franchise or management agreements, provide lodging or logistical support connected to family reparation or detention activities. This inquiry is part of a documented consumer risk and reputational review. Our interest is transparency and voluntary disengagement, not disruption. We request a written statement of your company's position and any policies governing such arrangements. That's it. Nothing else. No edits, no commentary, nothing else. Tier 2's action number 2. The second action. Control LinkedIn comments. The rules is no posting, commenting. Where? On the latest corporate LinkedIn posts for the brand or ownership group you will be responsible for. One sentence only. It will be, can you clarify whether your properties or affiliates provide lodging connected to federal detention or family separation activities? That's it. Nothing else. The rules you'll operate by. That one sentence only. No hashtags, no emojis, no replies unless the company asks a direct question. We are not there to argue. We are there to create public accountability without aggression. Timing. This is not optional. On our launch, to be determined soon, days 1 and 2, Tier 1, deploy emails. Day 3, Tier 2, deploys and submits forms. Day 4 and 5, LinkedIn comments deploy and appear in the corporate. Day 7, we go silent. Why this timing works? Timing is part of the leverage. It creates layered pressure and not chaos. The layers are executive notice first, compliance logs next, public accountability last, then silence. Our silence is strategic. Our silence forces internal processing and prevents escalation. We will be using some visual standards: plaques, cards, signs, posters. So implementation is not only digital, it is also physical, quiet, standardized, non-disrupted. We're stealth. We fly under the radar. We're under the noise. These visuals do not accuse, do not confront, do not interfere. They function as standards signals. We'll use plaques. We use interior with permission of the properties. Plaques will state civilian safety and human dignity standard. This space operates as a community safety zone, prioritizing calm, dignity, and protection for families, workers, neighbors, and guests. These standards support transparency and voluntary limits on how civilian infrastructure may be used in ways that could create fear or instability. This notice does not allege wrongdoing, and it does not interfere with lawful activity. The standards create safety. Transparency builds trust. We'll have cards, informational only. This is what will be on our cards. Community safety zones help protect neighborhoods by reducing uncertainty and limiting misuse of everyday infrastructure. Our standards focus on transparency, dignity, and voluntary containment of risk, so harm cannot hide inside normal commerce. This card is informational only. No allegation or enforcement action is implied. We'll have sign and member control spaces. The sign will read Community Safety Zone. This space supports voluntary civilian standards that protect families and workers, reduce fear through transparency, contain infrastructure risks before escalation, preserve lawful, non-disruptive activity. No enforcement, no interference, just our standards. There will be a poster to educate the public in our community safe zones. The poster will state, protecting neighborhoods by containing risk. Community safety zones reduce harm by limiting how civilian infrastructure can be quietly misused. They increase transparency, reduce fear, and stabilize everyday life without accusation or disruption. Standards create safety. Transparency builds trust. That's it. That's all. So here's the expected results. If this is working, you will not see confrontation. You will see quiet internal reviews, compliance questions, policy adjustments, voluntary disengagement. Silence is success. The 3-layer mechanism we're using, the triangle I call it. Here's what you are building in this 3-layer structure. 1, executive notice, control, formal, documented. 2, compliance logs, corporate forms that route internally and get tracked. 3, public accountability, calm LinkedIn comments that investors and boards see. No noise, no disruption, just structure, bringing them into compliance. So there's no need to attack those in Washington. They are just a distraction from where the real power sits. We have legal safe harbor, and the legal safe harbor reads, this campaign does not allege illegality by any hotel, business, or government agency. It addresses voluntary civilian standards, transparency, and community impact. No interference with lawful commerce is requested. Our final directive. Community safety zones protect neighbors by making misuse difficult and visibly unavoidable. Standards do the work quietly. Discipline keeps us legitimate. Containment keeps communities safe. Our safe community standard. This is not activism. This is soft power regulation through norms. We are not asking for termination of contracts. We are asking for disclosure and policy. That distinction is everything. I'm going to repeat. We are not asking for termination of their contracts. We are asking for disclosure and policy. That distinction is everything. In closing, if you want noise, this is not for you. If you want outcomes, follow the structure. Standards change policy quietly. Discipline protects legitimacy. Coordination creates leverage. As we say, the internet is our new torch. We don't have to burn down our cities, homes, stores, and businesses anymore, like we did during civil rights protests in the 60s. We are far more advanced thinkers than that in this internet age. So we contact, we write, we hit send, pause, hold our disciplined posture, and let institutions respond. Standards not force. All power to the people. See you on the next video. And don't forget the Substack link at the end of this video. Thank you for your time.